Hi, and welcome to this week's Tuesday Tonic. You'll see it's a slightly different session this week. Normally we're sitting together having conversations with a group, but today I'm out in the garden enjoying this glorious sunshine. Also, we're not having conversations, but we're going to be, or at least I'm going to be, doing a demonstration of a coaching technique. The reason for that is because what I'm sensing and what I'm noticing from all the conversations I've been having with some of my coaching clients is that there's a struggle around emotional resilience, that people are feeling a little bit jaded, frustrated, exhausted. And so a coaching technique can be one of the ways in which we start to look at how people can build their resiliency and also develop greater resources to support them. The way I'm going to do this is through a demonstration, and I want to make clear that obviously I'm on my own doing this, so I don't have a client who's going to show you how it works. Essentially, the effectiveness of the process really depends on the impact it has for the client. So bear that in mind as I demonstrate this technique to you. The way it's organized, as you'll see as I go through it, is that there are different spaces we're going to stand in and explore what are the issues and challenges for us. The other thing to bear in mind is this is very much a process that starts to engage our bodies. It's called an embodied technique. And it takes away, or it starts to shift our attention from so much time spending in our heads that we forget we have a body that has lots of information and intelligence. We tend to think of the brain in our head as the only source of learning and knowledge, when in fact our body also inhabits or provides us with a huge amount of information. So we're going to call on our bodies today to point us in the direction of what are the resources we have available to ourselves, and also what are the decisions we can be taking as we move through some of the challenges we may be facing at this moment in time. So I'm going to pause there for a minute, and then we're going to go through the technique as I will demonstrate to you. So the first step is, you'll see on the ground, is I've laid out some circles, and these represent different spaces in which we're going to stop and reflect and explore. So we have space 1, space 2, space 3, space 4, space 5, and each of these represent a different, if you like, a different position that we're going to be exploring from. So as you follow me, I'm going to start in space 1. So I invite you all to stand in the first space, and this space represents how we are before, or how we were before COVID-19, before the pandemic hit, how we conducted ourselves in our work, the rituals we had, the behaviors that we associated with, the feelings we had in our bodies, the ideas and the thoughts that we had before COVID hit. So that's where I want to start. So I'm going to just turn around so you can see me. So first things first is kind of notice your breathing. Is spend some time just slowing down your breathing. So breathe in for 5. Breathe out for 5. If it helps, close your eyes, because you really want to get into that space of what was it like back before COVID-19 hit. Just take your breath, slow down, and really just inhabit this space, this BC space before COVID. Notice how your body is feeling. Notice where your feet are. Notice how you're standing. Notice what's going on inside of you, in your chest, in your heart, in your belly, in your gut. Notice how you're breathing. Are you breathing deeply? What does it feel like to stand in this space? Notice what you're thinking. What are your thoughts? What's going on in your head at this time? And as you're noticing what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what's the emotion that's come with it? What's the one emotion that you would use to describe being in this space? Joy, excitement, happiness, doubt, confusion. What's the one emotion to capture this space that you're standing in before COVID hit? And also notice what's a sound that you can use to represent this space. That's the sound that feels right for me. What's your sound? Just pay attention to all of that. And as you notice how you're standing, how you're feeling, what's going on in your body, what's going on in your gut, in your heart, the thoughts you're having, the feelings you're having, the emotion and the sound, just really be with that, embrace all of that right now. Breathe it in and truly let it inhabit all of you. Then I want you to start to breathe it out and start to let all of that go. So everything you were feeling, everything you were thinking, the sound you made, how your body's feeling, I want you to let all of that go and let it be captured in this first space. Allow it to flow out into this space. When you're ready, if you've had your eyes closed, open your eyes and take a step out. So I'm going to step forward. And you've let all of that go, so shake it off, because you've left that all in that first space. Shake it off. So now we're going to move to space 2. I'm going to do that before me. And in space 2, you're going to feel what you felt, think what you thought when you started to work from home or started working remotely because COVID came and everything stopped. All your rituals that you were used to, all the things that you used to do, everything was thrown in the air. Everything became turned upside down. And this is now the reality that you're living through. This is the experience you're having right now. So again, what I want you to do is to stand in this space and feel everything that you're feeling as you're experiencing what it's like being in lockdown, where your rituals have been taken away, where the things you're familiar with have been taken away. And again, if it helps, close your eyes. And again, notice, what is it like in this space? Notice what's going on with you. I notice my legs feel a little wobbly. What's going on with you in your body? My stomach is churning a little bit. I notice there's a circle going round just in the pit of my stomach. What's happening for you? My heart is beating a little faster. My breath is a little shallower, and it feels like my breath is in my throat. My breathing is kind of here. Just notice all these things. There's no rush to change anything. You're just paying attention to what's going on in your body at this time, at this reality that you're now facing. This is the reality of living with COVID, of being in lockdown, of working from home or working remotely. This is the reality where everything you're familiar with has been turned upside down. So as you notice in your body what's going on, so again my shoulders feel heavy and droopy, and they feel quite painful in fact. Notice the thoughts. Pay attention to what are you thinking? What's happening there for you? Strange, I feel a bit lopsided, as if I'm standing on one leg and not the other. So I feel as if all of my weight is on one side. And notice what is the overwhelming or the overriding emotion you're feeling in this space. Anxiety comes to mind for me. And again, just notice all of the experiences that you're going through in this space. And think of the sound that comes with being in this space. What is the sound that captures what it's like to be in lockdown? Is the sense that I have. So notice all of this. You're just noticing now. Nothing more to do than just to pay attention to everything that's going on for you right now. Nothing to do but to notice and to pay attention. And again, as you do this, breathe in and feel everything. Feel all that it's like to be in this space right now. Feel what you're feeling. Notice the thoughts you're thinking. What's the emotion that you're feeling, and what's the sound that comes with being in this space. And as you breathe out, I want you to let it all go. Let it all flow out so that everything remains in this space. Leave it all here. And when you're ready, open your eyes and step out. And I'm putting things on top of these circles because it's a bit windy. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to a neutral space. And this is our space 3. So in this space, we are looking and paying attention to our two selves. Ourselves before COVID and ourselves in lockdown. And from this space, you're looking at your two selves and you're noticing what's going on for them. What are you observing? What do you notice about self 1 and self 2? What do you notice about the posture? What do you notice about how they're feeling and what they're thinking? So this is you paying attention to your two selves. What strikes you as you're paying attention to these two parts of you? The part before COVID and the part during lockdown. The thing that I'm noticing, for example, is how much more grounded that first person was. Both legs balanced. So standing very firmly, very grounded, very centered. The lockdown person is a little bit more wobbly, standing on one leg almost. almost toppling over. And the person's face looks a little anxious and scary, or scared, or afraid, or worried about something. Whereas there's a calmness on the face of this person. There's a familiarity is the word that comes with space one or self one. There's a comfort with doing the things they normally do. Whereas there's unease, because this is new territory. This is something unfamiliar. So getting used to something different is a little nerve-wracking initially. So just notice from here, what are you observing? Okay, and just again step out. I'm going to put the shoe back on there to stop the paper from falling or blowing away. So step away. Okay. And now we're going to move into position 4. And in this position, what I want you to notice and pay attention to is yourself in space 1 before COVID, yourself in space 2 during lockdown, and the feedback from the neutral observer. And in this space, just imagine, for example, you're an expert on working adaptively, and you've got some advice to share, bearing in mind what you're observing and also the information you're picking up from the neutral observer. What's the advice from paying attention to all that you're seeing? What's the advice you want to give to this person to support them in being more resourceful, to deal with what it's like to be in lockdown, to be working remotely? What information can you share with this person based on your expertise and what you're noticing from observing this system? The words that come to mind for me are, this too shall pass. It's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Trust yourself. Trust that you know what to do. Have confidence in yourself. Those are the words that come to me as I'm observing this system and this relationship. So take your time. Really pay attention to this relationship system and think about, as the neutral or at least the expert, what advice would you give based on the feedback and what you're observing? And when it feels right to do so, again, I'm going to invite you to step out and we're going to go to our last position. And I'm going to move this into this space, because our position 5 is where you're integrating everything you've seen and heard, all of the resources, all of the information that you've gathered, all of the knowledge you've now acquired, and you're going to gather all of that, because this is now the space from where you're going to move forward. This is you now inhabiting all of the resources at your disposal, all of the information you've gathered, so that you can move forward much more positively and confidently. So what is it you're going to take away from what was very positive for you? What is it that you want to take away but also leave behind that doesn't serve you anymore in space 2? What are some of the things that have been unhelpful to you that you want to let go of? And before we let them go, it's important to really honour what has been there for you. So just thank those parts of you that have provided you with support, but the support hasn't been as helpful as it could have been. And say something to the effect of, thank you, but I'm ready to let you go now. I'm taking what I need, and I leave here what I don't need. So some words to that effect. And gather up what you gained from the neutral observer and the expert. And bring all of those together into this space, into this you, so that you're fully resourced and fully able to move forward from this space. Thank you.